a response to Tina Swithin's article, Protection is Not Alienation, written by Christina Short, for Weaponized Stepmom, addressing claims in that piece. Tina Swithin's article, Protection is Not Alienation, is not an act of advocacy. It is an exercise in brand protection. The piece functions as a marketing maneuver that attempts to reposition her as the moral authority in custody debates while simultaneously concealing her own reliance on the same multi-level marketing tactics she condemns. This is not reform. It is reputation management. The late adoption of language. The most telling shift is her sudden use of the phrase multi-level marketing scheme to describe the parental alienation field. This is language she never employed in her own writings until recently. Since 2018, she has cultivated her identity as a survivor spokesperson, but avoided acknowledging her own profit structure. Weaponized Stepmom has consistently identified her brand as a multi-level marketing model, and her recent adoption of the term is an appropriation of critique designed to blunt accountability. When an individual adopts the precise terminology of their critics only after being publicly scrutinized, the act is not evidence of insight but of defensive repositioning. Baumeister, 1998. Emotional authority as marketing. Her narrative structure is predictable. She foregrounds her childhood trauma, her children's disclosures of abuse, and the conviction of a relative. These details may be true, but their placement in the article functions primarily as a shield. By anchoring her argument in personal tragedy, she creates an atmosphere where critique of her reasoning can be framed as disregard for victims. This is a classic appeal to emotion that masks the absence of evidence. Research on emotional manipulation shows that storytellers can leverage trauma narratives to regulate perception, control dissent, and increase compliance in their audience. Illouz, 2007. The straw man of the alienation industry. She constructs a broad category labeled the alienation industry and paints it as fraudulent, experimental, and abusive. Yet she offers no peer-reviewed citations and no specific data. The absence of empirical support reduces her argument to a rhetorical generalization. In marketing, this is a common tactic. Define an enemy that is vague enough to absorb multiple competitors and then present oneself as the only trustworthy alternative. Her claim that programs are universally abusive is not supported by developmental psychology literature, which instead shows that the outcomes of family interventions vary widely and depend on design, oversight, and context. Johnston and Roseby, 1997. The self-appointed gatekeeper. Her phrasing, "we can all agree," is a textbook gatekeeping maneuver. She sets the boundaries of consensus and positions herself as the arbiter of legitimacy. Anyone who challenges her framing risks being cast as aligned with abusers or profiteers. This creates the illusion of unanimity while silencing dissent. The tactic mirrors what communication theorists identify as boundary control, where a speaker defines the permissible range of dialogue in order to consolidate authority. Kahneman, 2011. Brand protection and reputational laundering. The sudden adoption of the multi-level marketing frame is a form of reputational laundering. It allows her to appear as though she has always been critical of profit models, when in fact she has profited from coaching and courses that mirror the very structures she critiques. This is consistent with what scholars of impression management describe as defensive self-presentation, adopting the language of critics to neutralize reputational threats. Martindale, 2010. Why she is the poster child for regulation. Tina Swithin is not exposing a problem from the outside, she is embodying it. She operates as a self-appointed authority selling coaching services to vulnerable parents without oversight. She accuses others of running schemes while employing the same mechanics of community building, upselling, and authority projection. Her brand is a case study in why the custody coaching field requires formal regulation. Without oversight, individuals can monetize high-conflict custody disputes while cloaking themselves in the language of child protection. Regulation is not optional. It is necessary to protect families from exploitation disguised as advocacy. This article is not about protecting children. It is about protecting Tina Swithin's brand. She is repositioning her image, mirroring the language of her critics, and weaponizing survivor rhetoric to shield her business model from scrutiny. She is the poster child for why custody coaching and advocacy businesses must be subject to oversight. Before you go, please share this video and the truth about Swithin across your social platforms. Like, comment, and share to help others find it.